You're locked into the Womanore Crush Wednesday podcast, the only weekly podcast inspiring, educating, motivating 1 million women entrepreneurs one Wednesday at a time. The WCW podcast is fueled by the purpose formula: passion plus purpose plus profit equals success. And here are your hosts, Jen and Modi.
You are listening to episode 12 of the Womanore Crush Wednesday podcast, as we continue to celebrate and honor mothers all over the globe with our Mother's Month movement. We will be talking with our Mom Boss Crush of the Week, Samantha Hahn. Samantha is a New York-based author and award-winning illustrator working with a range of clients from the Paris Review to the CFDA. Samantha's work has been internationally exhibited from New York to Hong Kong, which has been featured in numerous art and design books, and has been chosen for American illustration a number of times. Samantha's new book, A Mother is a Story, a celebration of motherhood, was released in March of this year, 2016. Well, Crushes, as we've mentioned before, we strive to give you, our listeners, the best quality of every episode. So you may hear sirens, a car or two, or maybe even an ice cream truck. You don't worry about that. You just continue to listen to us and remember that Samantha lives in the Big Apple, where it never sleeps. So enjoy, Crushes. Hey, Crushes. This week we are excited to have Samantha Hahn as our WCW and Mom Boss Crush of the Week. Welcome, Samantha, to Womanore Crush Wednesday podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So can you tell us your Womanore story? How did you start as an entrepreneur? How did you jump from working for a magazine to being completely a freelance entrepreneur?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to be an artist, and so I went to college and I studied art. And then the thing about studying commercial art is studying it is very different than actually entering the industry. So when I first got out of college, I had no idea really how to start getting freelance jobs or how to just kind of find my way into the industry. So I took a job at a magazine, which I didn't really like. It just didn't feel like home. And so I did that for like a year. And then I wound up going back to school and getting my master's in art education. And I taught for years and did art on the side. I was thinking, okay, this will be satisfying enough. But then I felt like something was still sort of missing. I just felt like the urge to be doing commercial art. So I would do projects for friends, whether it was like a jewelry designer doing their lookbook or an invitation for somebody or something. I just started small like that. And then I gradually, actually right after having my son, went part-time teaching and started getting more projects. My first big break was for Glamour magazine, and I just started doing more and more and realizing that the way to get work was to do more work for commercial clients, and then the work sort of begets work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it took time, but it just kind of took that leap of faith to know that I was starting to get projects, and that if I cut down on the teaching that I could, you know, build up in the other area.
Okay.
So when you were making that transition, was it scary? Did you have money saved up? Like, how did you just say?
That's a great question. I feel like people don't really talk about this stuff, and it's like, you know, not everybody has like the money to just sort of, oh, I'm just going to try this and try that. You know, I have a family, and I just had my son, and I had a steady job, and you know, health insurance and all these things. And to go from that to being totally freelance and never knowing when the next job was coming in was a really big decision. And luckily, my husband was really supportive of it, and we decided to move to a different apartment that was going to be more affordable for us for the time being, while I took the time to build up the work. And I was working, and I was also teaching part-time, so I wasn't going completely away from having a steady paycheck, which was really essential because, you know, I just, for those first, I would say the first year and a half, I was really working at night mostly. And then really actually like the main shift happened during my maternity leave, when I was on maternity leave from teaching when my son was born, I kind of took that time to ramp up and get more freelance work. And then after that, instead of going back full time, is when I went back more part time and was able to eventually stop teaching. I did it like over a gradual period of time. I went down to like 3 weeks after 3 days rather after maternity leave, and then eventually 2 days, and then 1 day, and then it just became clear that I could make it as a freelance illustrator, and that's what I did.
And that's really smart.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think there's, like, unless you have either some other person helping you or supporting you or some other job that you're willing to, like, work, burn the midnight oil, I just don't think that there's a way. I don't know, maybe there is. Maybe some people just leave college or, just decide that they want to do something and it happens immediately. I think it happens differently for different people, but for me, it was over a more gradual transition.
That's awesome. So you have a book, a new book, A Mother's Story, which is a celebration of motherhood. One of the reasons that we have you on here is to celebrate you as a mompreneur. So could you talk to us about your book and what made you want to write this book? What's the story that inspired you to write this book? Is it your son or what?
Yeah, well, my first book was called Well-Read Women, Portraits of Fiction's Most Beloved Heroines, and I illustrated quotes from, the most famous literary characters from their dialogue. And after doing that, the publisher said, like, let's do another book together. And I just didn't have anything that I felt really super excited about or that I was really willing to put in. Doing a book is a tremendous, tremendous undertaking, and it takes away from commercial projects. So I didn't have anything for a little while that I was ready to dive into. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, my second child, and I started realizing that there weren't really any books on the market that I saw that really kind of could express or convey the range of experience in motherhood and just kind of convey that love that you feel as a mother and also like the ups and downs and just the emotional roller coaster of the whole experience. And so I decided then that it would be an interesting idea to see if I could sort of capture those feelings in a book. So I followed the same format as my first book with illustrations and hand-lettered quotes, and I sought a range of different authors and public figures, actors, political activists, fashion designers. I just looked for quotes high and low that I thought really could speak to the different experiences people have as mothers. And then I did illustrations that went along with it. And so I worked basically throughout my pregnancy with my second child and basically throughout the first year of her life. And now she's 19 months old, and the book has been out for about a month and a half.
That's awesome. It's something I definitely want to buy it and purchase it for me to do with my daughter's growth. She's 2 now, so.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we did actually, in addition to the book, there's a journal that goes with it. The book is called A Mother's Story, and then there's a journal that's called Stories for My Child that has art from the book and some of the quotes, but also prompts for you to fill out, and you can kind of come to it at different points throughout your daughter's life. And it actually ends with, there's like a little envelope in the back that has like a space for you to write a little note to your daughter as she's going off, leaving for the world, which is sort of wonderful and heartbreaking at the same time. But I really wanted to do a journal also that had sort of different feeling than like the usual baby journal. This is like a little more in depth and a little more long term for you to come back to at different points as your child grows.
Interesting.
Love it.
So how did your own mother's story inspire you to write this book?
You mean like my personal experience?
Yeah.
Well, I started it when I was pregnant, so obviously I was like very emotional about the whole experience and excited to meet my daughter. And my son was, he was going to be entering kindergarten, so that was sort of interesting to watch him transitioning from being like a little baby and needing me in like this very physical way to kind of learning to stand on his own. So I kind of wanted to see if I could really capture those feelings that you feel during all those transitions in your kids' lives. So I feel like there's a lot of quotes in the book that really resonate with me personally in my own experience, but I also wanted to, portray the fact that my experience is not necessarily everyone else's. I think that's a unifying thing about motherhood, is that we all can kind of understand each other's experience no matter where we're coming from or what our background is or, all those things. But there also are a variety of different experiences that we can have. There's some quotes in there about how, there's a particular one from Rachel Cusk, who's a novelist, and she talks about how for some women, motherhood brings on feelings of heroism, and for other women, it brings on a feeling of exile from the life that you once had. So I wanted to kind of, for the first time I've seen in like any parenthood book, just kind of showcase the fact that it's not all sunshine and roses every second.
Right. And I mean, to be honest, that is what we as mothers need. We need the truth.
Yeah.
We need the truth because, our mothers didn't tell us the truth. We just, a lot of us, we just learn on our own.
Yeah.
How to be mothers. It's not, I don't think that there is any actual book that tells you how to, that can really show you how to be a mother. I really think that we all have, like you said, different experiences, and we all go into motherhood just expecting, one thing sometimes and really just getting the other.
I think that's like the main point of it. It's not like to tell you how to be a mother, but I think it's to kind of, showcase the idea that there's no right way or wrong way, that really you're going to have your own experience. And there's some things in there that totally resonate with you and make you laugh or make you smile or make you cry because of your own memories or something.
Right.
But, I just think that that's one of the beauties of it, is that it's like something that really connects all of us.
Yes.
In our
Definitely.
Yes, it does. It sure does.
So Samantha, what drives you and inspires you as an illustrator creatively?
Well, I feel like it's a range of different things, but I try to balance being an artist with, the capital A, with also being a crafts person. I think it's my work. It's not just a hobby. It's not just for fun or just because I feel like it. I really have to, I have very, a client-oriented, process. I have to be able to meet my clients' needs. So I find that really fulfilling, to get a problem from a client and then solve it with my, the way I work. And that's, really interesting to me to work that way. And it's not just about expressing myself. It's also about kind of conveying an idea or a feeling. And I would say that that's like the most thrilling aspect of my work to me, is that it's like I have a range of different things that I get called upon to do, and I can approach it with my own passion and interest in being an artist, and at the same time I am a crafts person who has to meet the client's needs, and they have to pay me, and that sustains me and my family, and it's sort of a symbiotic relationship.
Interesting. Awesome. And I mean, I think we all as mothers, I think every day we wake up, there's something that drives us more and more to do and to be better. I can just get your book now, open it up, find a quote, and that quote can inspire me for the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like art is having a real moment in the world. I mean, it's in every magazine, every newspaper, every website, and it's like exciting to be able to contribute to people's daily experience in the world.
Yes. So,
I think,
what? Oh, I'm sorry, Jen. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for me, something that's beautifully done, whether it's typography or whether it's an illustration, I appreciate those things so much more, like opening up a magazine and seeing that, or I don't know, if somebody sends you a GIF and it has hand lettering on it, that that piece of art inspires me, or that piece of art gets me going for the day. So we definitely need more artists like you, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what lessons have you learned from your children and being a mom that you put into practice for your business?
I think that's a great question. I think that my tendency as a person is to like have a plan for everything and, know how things are going to turn out. I want to like prepare and kind of, just have everything turn out the way that I set out for it to go. And I think as a parent, very quickly that you can't control every aspect of, the people in your life. And you see that your children are every day changing into different people, and you have to kind of have a flexibility in the way you think about life and how you approach things. And I think that that's been useful to me in my work as well. I don't know what my whole career is going to look like. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing at 50, and that's like, 60 years old or something. I don't know. That's a little scary. At the same time, I just have to kind of have trust and have faith that if I keep on doing, what I'm passionate about, that I will be able to be flexible enough when change comes to go with it. I think that that's really the biggest commonality between being a parent and being an artist.
Definitely have to be prepared for change. And I like what you said, being a mother prepares you for those moments of changes or ups and downs or challenges you may face in your business, for sure.
Yeah.
So we have a mantra on our show. We call it the purpose formula. And the purpose formula is purpose, passion, profit equals success. And we want to know if you could tell us what your purpose formula is.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's hard to think about. I think, my raison d'etre is my children. I really think like everyone gets meaning in their life from different things, and I've been an artist my whole life since I was a little child. It's been my passion. But I think when I had my kids, it really clicked in that like this is my meaning in my life. And so to balance that, my children as my meaning and my passion, which is my art, and sort of build my life around each is my my purpose, I guess. So that's my main reason. What gets me up every day are both of those things. And yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, it did. You answered it really quick. Most people get kind of stumped on that one.
Yeah. You go ahead.
So, there are a lot of people that might be listening, a lot of women that might be listening that are young artists or indie artists, young illustrator, and want to do what you're doing for a living. Could you tell us what you think about like the whole starving artist thing, and do you think it's necessary for someone to go through that for this industry?
What do you mean specifically?
Like, a lot of times people associate artists with, you're going to be a starving artist. You're going to be, you have to go through this whole tough thing just to figure out how to sell your art or whatever.
Well, I actually think, I think that anything is possible. That's like the truth of the matter. I think it is a very, very, very challenging industry. It's not the most lucrative industry. I think that there are people that do really well, and there are people that struggle, and I think that there's everything in between. And so I don't know that I can advise that it's going to work out, but I think that if you can look out there and find someone that you admire, whose work you admire, and you see that they're busy with clients, then it's possible. If you have good enough taste to know what's good and what art is being commissioned, then you have the potential to do that work and put it out there in the world. I think that everyone has a different way of approaching things. I think some people can be artists and be really happy as with like a desk job as a designer, whether it be at a magazine or a design company. And other people really have the strong passion to go off on their own and be freelance and work for a range of clients. it depends on how you feel. I think some people feel a lot safer knowing that they have an income, and that doesn't mean you can't be an artist. It means you are an artist for a company. I personally just have the desire to work for a range of clients on a range of different projects. And so I had to go through the bumps and the learning curves and ride the ride. And so, yeah, I think everyone's going to go through a stage where they're kind of figuring things out and having a bunch of failures and rejections. And I think that's a natural part of the process, almost in any industry that you want to enter into. I really can't think of anything that's just a smooth, clear entry from, deciding that you want to be something to getting to where you want to be. I think that there's always going to be a transition, and there's always going to be a lot of hard work required.
Yes. Yes. I think I'm echoing. I think what you were saying is awesome. Like, you have to go through things to, I guess, appreciate getting it. Like if you have a goal and you're working towards that goal, you have to go through things to get to it. It's just like a bachelor's degree. A lot of us did not finish in 4 years. I mean, let's be honest. Most Americans do not finish in 4 years, but that's a goal that, you've placed upon yourself to say, I'm going to complete it, So then when you finally get there and you went through blood, sweat, and tears to get to it, and you finally get that paper in your hand, that feeling, I think all of us talking right now know that feeling. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it. It's just, I just feel like everyone has a goal. Everyone has a goal in life. And like you said, you have to work towards it. You have to work on it. Anything is possible, and nothing is ever easy to get.
No. And you have to also be flexible. I mean, I think what's different about just getting a bachelor's degree, of course, there's a lot of challenges with that, but when you're out in the world, if you do want to be an artist, there is no one path. There's no syllabus or set of courses that you have to take, and then once you've taken them, you get your degree. It's not like that. There's no clear answers. I can't give you a clear set of rules that you have to follow. I think everybody has to kind of find their own path, and I think that that's actually very good and very valuable, because my path isn't necessarily going to be someone else's that's entering the industry today. So exactly. I think that's actually a great thing for people trying to get in, that you can find your own way in. Just look.
Right. Well, you've kind of answered the question that I want to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Your top 3 things that you would impart on someone that was to follow your footsteps. A young lady that comes to you and just says, I want to do exactly what you did.
Yeah, I would say, number 1, do work that you like. You can't expect someone to just see your potential. You have to show them that you have the potential. So if you want to be an illustrator that does fashion illustration, you have to have a solid body of work that's going to stand as an example to any client that wants to hire you, that you do the specific kind of work that they could potentially hire you for. I would say 2, learn the business. There's a number of books on the market that you can get that have pricing guidelines and that showcase the various areas in the market that you can work within. So find your niche in the market, I would say. Find your special spot where you can focus your energies. And 3, I guess I would say form a community. I think it's really important to see other people that are doing what you're doing and get support from each other, potentially collaborate with each other. Then you're not really in it alone. I think the internet is a really amazing way that people can connect. And if you're starting out in this industry, there's a lot of people just like you who are trying to make a name for themselves or trying to get better at their craft. and you can connect, and you never know when you could help one of them or they could help you in your career.
You're right. Definitely right.
Those are great tips for a young person. At first, I didn't know whether you're going to answer all three because you said everybody had a different path, but those are amazing.
I think those are, I think those are flexible. Everyone has their own path, but you can do all of those things in your own way.
Yes, ma'am.
True. Very true. So, Samantha, what is next? I know you've written a blog, you have 2 books, you have beautiful illustrations over many, many magazines across the world. What's next for you?
That's a good question. I just, my book just came out, so I've been just focusing so much of my energy on that, and now that it's sort of rooted in the world, I think it's time for me to go back to really focusing on interesting collaborations with clients. That's my main goal right now, is to kind of look at what I want to do, like maybe try some different things. I love illustrating food, so maybe doing illustrating a cookbook or working for a food magazine, and continuing to do the work that I'm known for and that I like doing. But additionally, I think it's going to be important for me to do some more personal work, because I've been just doing the book for so long and doing client work that I think it's so easy to get lost in that and forget that I'm an artist too, and I need to kind of, use my own voice. So while I'm doing all that client work, I think it's essential for me to take the time to do some abstractions and do some fine art on top of it.
Awesome.
Excellent. We love moms, especially moms taking time to do what they love or taking time out for themselves. So that's great.
Awesome. So where can you be reached? Can you give our crushes your handles?
Oh, sure. My portfolio site is just Samantha Hahn, HAHN.com. And I have a blog that's called Maquette, which is samanthahahn.com/blog. And on Instagram, I'm Samantha J. Hahn. And I have a little artist's Facebook page also that's just Samantha Hahn Illustration.
Awesome.
Also, one more thing. If someone wants to buy art, how do they contact you?
I actually have a little shop. If you go to my site, you can click on the link to my shop. And so I have posters and T-shirts and things like that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha, thank you so much for being our Mom Boss Crush this week, and it was great talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Womanore Crush Wednesday podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for Girl Talk with Jen and Modi, along with some of your favorite business crushes, more exclusive business tips, insights, creative business ideas, and doable action steps to improve your business and help you create your phenomenal life. Sharing is caring. Don't forget to tell a friend to subscribe and stay tuned for a weekly dose of the WCW podcast. Crushing hard on a womanore and want to hear her story on the show? Know a creative woman-owned business that's killing it? Let us know at womanorecrushwednesday@gmail.com.